Hey guys, welcome back to our video on unpacking PAs and EAs at the beginning of units. So unpacking a PA allows a student to see what questions are going to be asked by the end of the unit and what skills they're going to need to answer those questions thoroughly and accurately. So we're going to give students a copy of all of the questions, but we're not going to answer the questions with them. We are going to have a discussion on the skills they would need in order to answer the questions. So when you go into Springboard and find an embedded assessment, or you go into TRS and you find the PA that you want to use or that the checkpoint will use, copying and pasting it onto a either Word document like I have here or onto a Google document will allow you to give your kids a copy of the questions. And that way you can have that conversation. So if we looked at this, this is grade 6, Unit 1, PA 1. The 4 6th grade classes at Waxahachie Middle School are fundraising for their end of the year field trip. Each of the classes has an individual class goal. Question 1. Ms. Vasquez's class has earned 45% of their class goal of $300, and Mrs. May's class has earned $150 or 30% of their class goal. So just by looking at the first question, I see money and I see percents. So money and percents is going to be a skill that they need to have by the end of this unit. They should be able to find how much 45% is of 300 and 150 being 30%. We should be able to find their whole class goal. So for each class, represent the percent of money earned compared to the class goal with a concrete or pictorial model, fraction, and decimal. Well, for this question, it looks like I need to know what a concrete or pictorial model is, along with a fraction and a decimal, and then there's an explain component. Let's not forget about the explain, because the explain is where we get a higher score. We move from a 2 to a 3, or from a 3 to a 4. Explain the relationship between these representations. Part B, using benchmark fractions and percents. Well, I think we would need to know what those are. So students need to know what benchmark fractions are and what benchmark percents are. Look at question 2. This is Mr. Wu and Mr. Green's classes, and they both have a goal of $600. Mr. Wu's class has earned a 5th, while Mr. Green's class has earned 23%. Again, money, percents, fractions, all things that they need to be able to do, all skills required to complete these questions or to answer these questions. Generate an equivalent fraction, decimal, and percent of money earned by each of the 2 classes. So we need to know what equivalent fractions, decimals, and percents are and how to find those, especially in terms of money. And then again, part B, use benchmark fractions and percents. So we need to know what those benchmark fractions and percents are. So that would be the discussion I would have with my students. What are the skills? Well, the skills are, I need to be able to convert or find equivalent fractions, decimals, percents. I need to be able to create a concrete or pictorial model, and I need to explain the relationship between these representations. So those are the skills, and now as we start Unit 1, the kids know what skills they have to master so that they can do well on their assessments. Unpacking also relates to the rubric. So here is the rubric. I took it off of TRS. I cut and pasted it onto this document. And at this point, I would have a discussion with the students about how to grade using a rubric. And this is where some calibration can happen. So what a 4 looks like, and the word beyond. So to get a 4, you have to go beyond what the PA asks and give more information. A 3 very well explains all of the questions, and it's extremely accurate. A 2, they get the answers right, but their explanations are weaker. And here for a 1, the work is wrong. You can tell that they're beginning to understand the concepts, but they're not quite there yet. And for a 0, this is for a student who just doesn't get it or doesn't answer, just leaves it blank. So 0s are pretty hard to get unless they just don't do anything. And again, it tells you exactly what is required for all of these. So as we unpack, we might give examples of answers to different questions and see if they can calibrate. For this question, is this a 4, 3, 2, 1, or 0? And as we go through the year, the students are going to get better and better at being more objective with their answers and deciding if their answers are at a 4, a 3, a 2, a 1, or a 0. So unpacking before you start the unit is going to be a very big part of making sure kids get that information, giving them a goal, giving them the end of the unit so that they know why they're learning the things that they're learning. All right, guys, the next video will be on grading these PAs. Thank you guys so much.